Good morning, everyone. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're all doing good. I hope you're doing fine. Welcome aboard, guys. Before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, all that sweet stuff. That'd be absolutely fantastic. If you guys did that for me, that really would be. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. I am absolutely shattered. I had an overnight flight. I arrived back this morning. I'm back here in my abode, of course, guys. Welcome again, you absolute legends, guys. So now, guys, let's get into some news about Manchester United. Now, obviously, there's going to be circulations of news around Man United, in particular transfers surrounding Man United. Who are Manchester United going to bring in? Now, apparently, Manchester United have made moves for multiple players. That doesn't mean that we're going to go and get all of them. Man United are going to be linked with a number of players over this next, 3 weeks or so. Man United are going to be linked with a number of players and basically players that, are on our list already, were on our list already, have been on our list for many, many months, if not years, guys. So one of the players that have been on Man United's list is Jeremy Jacquet. Now, Jeremy Jacquet is a player that I've mentioned on the show before, of course. I do believe other entities have mentioned him as well, but I broke it on the show. Of course I did. 20-year-old centre-back playing for Stade Rennais. Now, look, guys, I'm looking at things in a way that, in an objective manner, that do Manchester United need centre-backs? I mean, yes, in one way, but no in another way. I would say that if we had Mazza, Nietzsche, De Ligt fit, I don't think we really need to. I rate Aiden Heaven and I rate Lenny Yoro, and I think they're the future as well. So I don't think the priority for Manchester United should be the centre-back positions. The midfield is the one what needs fixing, and that's what I would say about that. Jeremy Jacquet, though, is an incredibly talented player, as we know, of course, playing for Stade Rennais. We spotted him only about, I think it was nearly a year ago, we mentioned him for the first time. And he would represent another fantastic young player for Man United. But let me just clarify. We already have Lenny Yoro. We already have that type of French sort of player, the young French up-and-coming player. We already have that type of player. Do you know what I mean? And do Manchester United need that type of player? Do we need to be going in for another defender, guys? Let me know what you think about that. I'm very interested to know. I don't think we really do need to be doing that. Now, one name that isn't familiar with the channel is Evan Ndicka. Evan Ndicka is a 26-year-old Ivory Coast international, guys. Playing for Roma, a product of, obviously, came from Frankfurt, played for Frankfurt as well. 13 million he's valued at. Evan Ndicka is 26 years old. He fits the bill more for me. And if I look at Evan Ndicka, I look at it and I think he's more of an experienced 26-year-old. Not like he's got age on his side as well, I know, but he's got that little bit of experience and know-how. Being 26 years old, he's been around the block a little bit more than a Jeremy Jacquet has been, for example. It does look like Manchester United are going to sell Maguire or end the relationship with Manchester United and Maguire. It does look like that. Obviously, Man United have lost a number of defenders. We lost Rafael Varane, Lindelof, of course, not too long ago as well. And they haven't really been replaced. We got young players in, of course, guys. But it's interesting to see that Man United are looking to build the back from the back. Now, what surprises me is that, I feel like we're throwing everything against the wall and hoping something sticks. I just don't want Man United to be doing deals based on panic. I like to think that Man United will do deals this winter, shall I say. And I like to think that we get players in that actually fix the football team and help us progress, for example. Do you know what I mean? And not just going to be a squad filler, of course. But Jeremy Ndicka, 26-year-old Ivory Coast international, playing for Roma. Man United are looking at him as well. Now, there have been a number of bids that have gone in for Manchester United, and namely Carlos Baleba. I spoke about that yesterday. But these deals don't get done quickly, especially with Manchester United. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens to that. That will come to light pretty soon. Conor Gallagher is another one that Manchester United are looking at and are prepared to make an offer for in regards to a loan with an obligation to buy. There's also rumours about Jean-Philippe Mateta, of course, of Crystal Palace, the striker. Look, at the end of the day, you guys make the decision. Mateta, Man United, I was a big fan. I am a big fan. I was a big fan in the summer, and you guys know that I was banging the Mateta drum every single day. And Man United didn't quite make the move, did they? I mean, he was quite expensive, of course. But Jean-Philippe Mateta is another one that Man United are looking at bringing in January. Now, look, guys, I know these are rumors, and I know there's a lot of players coming off the cuff in regards to links and stuff like that. But they have to prove it. They have to prove it. INEOS have to prove it, and have to show us that they truly care about this football club, and they truly care about what happens on the football pitch. And that is the most important thing at the end of the day for me. Because if they don't, then that just clarifies for me. It doubles down on the fact that INEOS are no good. And I don't just say INEOS. I don't want INEOS because I want Ruben Amorim out. There's a lot of people out there that want INEOS out because they want Ruben Amorim out, and that's a disgrace in my opinion. I didn't want INEOS there. I didn't want them to facilitate the Glazers. I wanted the Glazers to leave. I wanted a full sale, the debt cleared, etc., etc., etc. And if that happened, Man United will have a lot of money to work with in regards to FFP and PSR. Because even now, even though we got this debt, and we can still bring in these type of players, guys. Now, another subject of transfer news is a young lad named Kenan Yildiz. Now, one of the most sought-after young players in Europe is Kenan Yildiz, and of course, has been linked to the likes of Liverpool and Real Madrid and teams like that. Now, Juve have slapped a 100 million euro fee on Yildiz. No surprise there. He's only 20 years old, could play left wing, right wing, attacking midfielder, up front, type of player that Man United looking at the moment. And when we're looking at the characteristic of the attacking or the midfield player that Man United are looking at, as I've spoken many, many times, is that we're looking at players that can be versatile, can play in various positions, bit of a handyman, so to speak, left wing, right wing, CDM, AM, number 8 kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that's what Man United are looking at the moment. So they can rotate when they can, or when there's adversity strikes, an injury, a red card, or international duty, as we know. Manchester United are monitoring Kenan Yildiz, guys, due to the players' desire for a higher salary and a more prominent role, and because of stalled negotiations, Juventus. Now, there is a problem, obviously, with Kenan Yildiz, and this is something that we have to look at, and this is something that we can't flip-flop away from, because we got to paint everything with the same brush, guys, in regards to this kind of thing. Now, when players go on strike or they down tool for wages, it does obviously add a bitter taste in my mouth when it comes to these type of players. And I would say that I don't want players, flattering to deceive or not performing for their football clubs because they're not getting the money that they want at 20 years old. It does leave a bit of taste in the mouth. And that is something that we obviously have to look into, of course. And when you think about Juventus next generation, of course, which is the youth team at Juventus, they have built Kenan Yildiz up to this magnificent player. They made him into this incredible player and wanted around Europe, of course, guys. Now, look, Man United, of course, we're no stranger to rumors. We're no stranger to noises. We're no strangers to drama. Excuse me. And this will continue. Of course it will, because the way the fan base is going on at the moment, Enzo Maresca gets sacked from Chelsea. They make it an Amorim thing. They make it an Amorim thing. Enzo Maresca spent near $1 billion at Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? So I just want people to just be calm a little bit. Now, I also want to clarify something. I'm not one of those guys who are firmly Amorim in, right? I want to say that right now. I am Manchester United in, and if results don't improve, I will obviously be questioning it. And I do believe that the Leeds United game on Sunday is very, very important. And why? Because we are 2 points away from 4th place. And we got an opportunity. We have to try and win these games now, guys. We have to try and put points on the board now. What stops the noise? What stops the anger? What stops the media going in on it? Ruben Amorim wins. Win, 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 win. When you win, you have no the media, the outlets, the social media guys and stuff like that, they have no leg to stand on, right? You just have to win. And that's what it is at the end of the day. And guys, which, you know what, we're not doing at the moment in a volume that we would like to do, of course, guys. Absolutely. Let me just say good morning to the community. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone is blessed, of course, guys. Big up, everyone. Of course, everyone in the chat, of course, my guys. Big up, my friend Nikki. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good, guys. Guy, absolutely. Big up, Scott. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well, brother. I hope we do go for every player. Half the damn starters have gone injured at the AFCON. You know what I would say? It's not about going for players. We're not going after every player. What it is that every single football club will have a list of players that they want. They have contingency plans in there, and they are going to target all those players that they want. It's not to say that they're going to sign every single one of those players. It's just that it gives them more of an opportunity to sign players. So, for example, we go after Elliot Anderson. We don't get Elliot Anderson. We got Baleba on the contingency. We don't get Baleba on the contingency. We get Wharton. You know, we don't get Wharton, we get Kone. We don't get Kone, we get Yavi Guerra. And that's how it works. Do you know what I mean? And I think people just need to clarify that just because you're linked to a player doesn't mean that, you know what, you're going to sign that player and that player is going to be yours. And, you know what I mean, we're going to sign that player and have about 50, 60 players there. It's not going to happen. It's going to be like you have a bunch of players. Those are the players we want. We're going to try with that player, try it with that player. And sometimes, like Man United are doing at the moment, they will try with more than one player, a multitude of players, so that when it comes to it, if anything gets agreed, especially in the January transfer window, because when you're looking at the January transfer window, is, you know, you've got no time. So you've got to do as much as you can. It's a bit of a crazy thing to say, but you've got to do as much as you can. You've got to start, you know, bidding and stuff like that, and getting as many bids in as possible with the players that you want, of course, and you acquire. Of course, absolutely. Morning, my brother. Big up, Scott. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Big up, Rajat. Hope you're well, mate. Maybe Jacquet will be, sorry, I didn't read that, will be a potential centre-back. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we got one of them, though. We got a couple of them, though, isn't it? And that's my argument, Rajat. We got Aiden Heaven and we got Lenny Oro. And at the end there, you know what I mean? I think we got a couple of them. Why not Thuram from Juventus? He's a very good centre midfielder. There's a lot of players that we can throw out there, Scott. You know, I've spoken about loads of players over this last, how long has it been? A year? In regards to that central midfield, we've been speaking about Keith Schmidt. We speak about, you know, Rodrigo Mora is another fantastic player. Bruno Biden, another fantastic. Ruben Neves, Leon Goretzka. We can go on and on and on about the players that Man United mentioned. Edison Castillo, the young player. We got, you know, and what I would say is that I would just like to think that they have a plan. And if the plan A doesn't work, they got the plan B. If the plan B, they got the plan C, and so on, of course, guys. And I hope that Man United do some work in regards to transfers this month. Because look, guys, 2nd day of January. And that's all I'm saying at the end of the day, guys. Time doesn't wait for anyone. Now, another player Man United have been linked to is Musa Yayo. I spoke about it 2 days ago. Man United are interested in RB Salzburg, Malian winger Musa Yayo, according to sources, are close to the player. Now, I also want to point out, and I also want to clarify something. I want us to be aware of this as well. A lot of players do use Man United's name. Their agents do use Man United's name. It's trying to bump up the price of the player, and it's trying to get more money for the player, or that player wants another contract and they want more money for that. He wants more money. And this is exactly what I want people to be aware of when you hear rumors like this. For example, Kenan Yildiz, right? We love Kenan Yildiz, fantastic player. But how do we know his agent is not using Man United to try and get a bumper contract from Juventus? Do you know what I mean? And that always seems to happen with Man United. And I think we need to be aware of this now. We really do need to be aware of this. And we need to, obviously, we've been doing this for a long time, guys. You know, in regards to Man United linked with this player, Man United linked that player because they want a new contract or because a team is looking to get more money for them, of course, guys. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up, Tyro, my guy. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, and congratulations on the Man City draw yesterday. Of course, Arsenal would move 4 points clear at the top of the league, guys. It's getting pretty tasty for Arsenal, isn't it? Big up United FTW. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed. Everyone is good, of course, guys. Rajat. Good morning, Rajat. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is fine with you. Morning, Sal. Matata started the season well, but has fallen out recently. He's still a good player, though. I feel that, yeah, I have noticed he hasn't been playing the levels that he was playing, especially last season. He's absolutely unstoppable. I mean, I remember him watching him in the FA Cup final, Crystal Palace against Man City. He was absolutely on fire. And I rated him. I rated him very highly. And, you know, it would have been a great signing for Man United. He would have been. But Man United didn't make that move. Of course, because of the age, probably. The age thing is a problem. But now Man United are starting to track back and look at these players and look at the likes of Mateta and the likes of Ruben Neves and these type of players. Do you know what I mean? And Pascal Gross as well, what we were speaking about yesterday, was another one that Man United were looking at and are looking at, you know, hijacking that deal. It's nothing wrong with having a bit of experience in the squad. There's nothing wrong. As long as they got legs and they've got athleticism and they've got the capabilities to play in the Premier League, I don't think it's a big problem in my humblest of opinions. I'm still Ruben Amorim in, but the stats are starting to worry. The pros keep keeping him. He has got to start getting consistency and not just saying things for the sake of it. One thing which saves Ruben Amorim at the moment is the fact that we're 2 points from fourth place. Now, I want people to not move the goalposts here. People are moving the goalposts. At the beginning of the season, people were saying 6th to 7th will be a great position for Man United. Man United 2 points from fourth, right? So we are on January the 2nd, and we're 2 points from fourth with all the adversities that has been going on at the moment. So you've got to look at that, and you've got to respect that and say, right, okay, right, that's good. Now, how can we capitalize on this 2 points? How can we get into those Champions League positions? And that's what Man United need to do, right? And yeah, we need to win more games. Absolutely. We're not winning enough games at home. Absolutely. You know, but that is a multitude of issues at Man United, not just the manager. There is a problem with the team. There's a problem with the ownership. There's a problem with backing. I can't fully back Ruben Amorim until I feel like he's been backed, which he hasn't been backed. And anyone who thinks he's been backed is just living up the Glazers and INEOS backside, in my humblest of opinions. And I think, like, we can't make an accurate judgment. Now, whatever manager comes in, and boy, oh boy, if I knew there was a manager in the world right now that can come into Man United and make us the best team in the world, let's do it at the end of the day, because it's all about Man United at the end of the day, right? How do we know that those managers there, a new manager that comes in, is going to be backed as well? He's going to be backed because their guy is Ruben Amorim, and he's not been backed yet. That's their guy. That's their boy. That's their man. You know what I mean? And he's not been backed. Not to the level that needed to. We came 15th last season. And you're looking at, all right, he bought a couple of midfield stackers in there and a striker, and he bought in a young goalkeeper in the last minute, which obviously cost us. We'll probably get Camavinga since he don't get much playing time. No, there's a couple of players that play for Real Madrid at Man United. Man United were looking at, of course, loan deals for a couple of players as well, like I've mentioned on this show a few times. The problem with Real Madrid, and I would give the advice to any player that gets their lights shining with Real Madrid, right? Real Madrid are very good at buying players and just putting them on the bench. They're doing it with Arda Güler, of course, who I'm a massive fan of. Mastantuono, another South American, Argentinian player, very, very talented, not getting enough playing time. Real Madrid do it a lot. They do it with Rodrigo. They do it with Endrick. They do it a lot. And, you know, I would urge players that want to go to Real Madrid to reevaluate what, you know, themselves, because at the end of the day, you know, you got to look at your career and you got to look at, you know, your playing time. The World Cup is around the corner as well. Let's not forget. Why is there a Man City badge? Where's that Man City badge? Where's that Man City badge? Where's that Man City badge? Is there a Man City badge? I would delete that right now if they're man. Oh, you're talking about their fixtures. Use your mullet. They're fixtures, mate. They're fixtures. Man United fixtures. Look at the dates. Look at the dates. Absolutely. Use your mullet, guys. Come on. Where's the Mark community? Where does the notion that Man United want Anderson come from? Also, that he does front runner before Baleba. That's not necessarily true, bots for United. He's not necessarily a front runner, according to Glazers and INEOS. I mean, it does look like, if I was a betting man, that Baleba would be the first midfielder through the door. Man United have approached Baleba. They've got the agreement already in place with the player and the agent and stuff like that. Haven't got a deal in place with Brighton yet, which is the most important thing, of course. But the Anderson deal is going to be arisen because Man United are interested in Elliot Anderson. And Elliot Anderson, for me, will be one of the best midfielders in the world. If he ends up going to a Man City or an Arsenal or Liverpool or something like that, he's going to be one of the best players in the world. Don't rest assured. I actually think his ceiling's higher than Declan Rice. I do. However, it doesn't mean that Man United are going to sign Elliot Anderson before everyone else. We'll have to wait and see in regards to that. Sal Warner, what's that all about, mate? I'm not Sal Warner, mate. At the end, I'm Man United in, mate. Absolutely. Before you know what? You were spunking your dad's balls when I started watching Man United, mate. So you come on here and start showing a little respect, you little prat. But Sal, by that logic, considering the rest of the league is poor this year, the top six are all playing pretty badly, so we shift the post based on what's occurring. You shift the post based on what's happening, mate, because at the end of the day, Man United are where they are. We've been here gaslighted about Areola, Glasner, Thomas Frank for a very long time, and they're all below Ruben Amorim, right? And what I would say is that there is only a couple of teams, maybe Arsenal, maybe Man City, and they drew with Sunderland. We beat Sunderland. They drew with Sunderland yesterday, so there's only probably Arsenal who are really consistent in this league. You do what you are. But at the same time, like, again, you don't pick and cherry pick what I say. You got to look at, has he been backed yet? Has he been back to the level that he's going to be back? And if he hasn't been backed, how do you know the next manager who comes into this football club is going to be backed? And that's what you have to look at the end of the day. We are 2 points from fourth, and you have to look at that. We have to beat Leeds on Sunday. I'm telling you right now, we have to beat Leeds on Sunday. I hope we beat Leeds on Sunday, and when we move on from there, absolutely. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Right. Did not notice. Come on, mate. Come on, guys. Big up. Valencia is Dan is saying, what you on about, mate? You're talking shit, mate. Calm down, chill too. I don't know who he is, mate. He's probably a loser, mate. You know what I mean? He's probably knocking one out to a Bruno Fernandes, suppose. I don't know what he's doing, mate, to be honest with you. One more, he's gone. He's gone if he carries on. But that's all right. Yeah, look. At the end of the day, how can you judge Ruben Amorim based on what we have? We have players there from 2014, Lawrence. You can't say necessarily he's a poor manager with what he done at Sporting Lisbon and what he done in the Champions League. You can't say that for a 40-year-old at the end of the day. You can't say he's a poor manager for the league when he's not getting back to the level that he needs to be back. You can't say that at the end of the day. You would say that it's just, at the end of the day, you can only make an accurate judgment until he has been backed properly, not by these leeches, INEOS and the Glazers. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. But I've been talking about this for a very, very long time. Here's the thing, mates. I get it. We are all frustrated with the results, but he is missing 8 players. 8 players. And he has half-arse been backed by the owners. He is going to be a Patsy. Maresca got money. Maresca got $1 billion. Right, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Look, this isn't all about Ruben Amorim in. I'm not that guy, right? I don't care. I'll be honest with you, Scott. Everyone. I don't care what happens. If it's for the detriment, if it's for the benefit of Manchester United, I'm all for it. I don't care. The only problem is that some people like you to be extreme. You're either that or you're that. And that's all they care about. You're not that in the middle. Do you know what I mean? And that is the problem with the fan base. You have to be in, you have to be out. I'm like, okay, let's look at things, right? Okay, I'm looking at things with context. I'm looking at things objectively. I'm looking at the transfer window. I'm looking at the players that have been there for 15 bloody years. I'm looking at that. Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, this is going to happen with every bloody manager we get. And I know the notion. Then what do we do then? What do we do then? All right, get another manager in. Look, in my opinion, guys, and you guys are going to get funny. The only manager that I foresee can work with these players right? Unless they get rid of these players and buy Ruben Amorim players, is Antonio Conte. And the reason is because Antonio Conte will implement discipline, discipline at the end of the day, guys. And I think that he would be like a stopgap for a few seasons, guys, Geordie boy, what's going on, my friend? Player need to take responsibility. Proper fat, my friend. Absolutely. The other teams are missing not as many as ours, mate. Wolves are missing 7-8 of their players and still got a draw versus us. Yeah, but look, you need to look at this, FTW, and don't come with the dumb opinions, mate. I respect your opinion, but you need to look at the experience in the Wolves team. Look at our bench, Tyler Fletcher, Jack Fletcher, Tato. But look at that, guys. Look at that. Guys, we had a very young team. Wolves didn't. Every single player in that Wolves team were experienced European players who played in European leagues. You had João Gomez. They had players like that in their midfield. You know what I mean? And we had Jack Fletcher. You got to look at things contextually. They only lost 2-1 to Liverpool, by the way. They only lost 2-1 to Arsenal with 2 own goals, by the way. Let's not forget that too. That old chestnut. You know what I mean? It had nothing to do with that, mate. It had nothing to do with that. We get it. You don't want Ruben Amorim. Just say it with chest, mate. Be brave. Say it with chest. I don't want him fired, mate. I disagree with most of YouTube who want him gone, though his managerial performance are not great. If he gets... You're only as good as what you're given, though, isn't it, mate? Breadstick in the sword fight, and that's what I would say. Mr. Reneso, for those saying that other teams are missing players as well, we are only competing because of our preferred 11. The moment we are missing one or two, it affects the team immensely. Very smart comment. Exactly, mate. Exactly. Here is the issue as well. How many open goals or chances that most would have converted? We have some of the... Exactly that, Scott. We have some of the best chances in the league, and obviously Sesko needs to start putting the ball in the back of the net. Sesko all-round play has been good. I know it's not just about goals, and I know it's about holding the play up and stuff like that, but Sesko all-round play has been good, right? But he's got to put the ball in the back of the net. That's what he's there to do, and Man United need to start scoring more goals. Absolutely. And that's 15 points. Exactly that, mate. Guys, if Amorim sacks... the Glazers need to sack Amorim. The Glazers need to go, mate. That's what needs to happen. The Glazers need to get at Man United. That's what needs to happen. INEOS need to go as well. Absolutely. Okay, so at the end of the day, it is all about opinion. We have opinion, but I will shut down opinions when it comes. I've been in football a very long time. I've worked in football. I don't just talk about football. I work in football and stuff like that. Scott, I think it's going to shame if we have to get Mateta and not CMs, then we are still stuck with the same issue. Exactly, mate. Isn't it funny that we're not getting midfielders in? Why are we not targeting midfielders? I mean, if we don't get any midfielders in, I don't know what's going to happen, guys. Absolutely. Jordy, them Fletcher twins wouldn't get anywhere near the first team if his dad, they weren't getting Wolves team, mate. But they're both like toothpicks. Sekou Kona is playing good football. You know what, Jordy? Look, I don't like to do this. I'll be honest with you, Jordy boy. I don't like to do this, but you do speak truth there. There is a fact there. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And I would say that it's pretty evident that they're getting picked because of their father. And that is it. That's not to say they haven't got talent. I'm not saying that. I've always been skeptical about players who come into football teams because their daddy or whatever was a footballer, for the same club. It does take a bit of edge away from that footballer, if you know what I mean. But I still wish them the best, of course. Lawrence, for example, who is the coach's setup has failed to work with Sesko on finishing. Let me just tell you something, Lawrence. Sesko's never been prolific. And that is something that we scouted. That's something we did. But Sesko has never been prolific. Look at his history, mate. He's never been prolific. Sesko's never been that guy to get you 40 goals a season, 35 goals a season, even in the Bundesliga. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Sal, do you think that Wilcox is moulding Darren Fletcher into our next manager? Do you know what I would say about it, Alex Ferguson? You know what I would say about it? You know, these Paul Scholes, Gary Nevilles and that, why don't they manage Man United? Why don't they come in? They know all about Man United. They know about the heritage of Man United. They know everything about Man United, don't they? Why don't they come and manage Man United? Why don't they come and manage us? Why don't they do that? They know everything about Man United, don't they? At the end of the day. Not United quality, though, mate. They hate just facts. Yeah, it's not hate. It is facts, and I agree with you there, mate. I'm very, 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 careful about the way I praise people willy nilly. I don't do that because at the end of the day, this is Manchester United's, our future at stake. And I don't want favorites. I look, guys. I don't want to bring it in because I will get attacked because people get very touchy when it comes to our youth players and stuff, and fair enough. But Shea Lacey, Mantato, Musa, these players, Thwaites, should have been ahead of Jack Fletcher and Tyler Fletcher, in my opinion. Right? That's just me, guys. And that's what I think. Ibrahimov as another one. I think they should be ahead, in my opinion. Raja, when Ronaldo came back, there wasn't much service to him, and some problem with Ben Sesko. He doesn't get much crosses to his head. He did look, I'm not going to flip-flop from this. I'm not going to lie. He got a couple of very good chances the last game, mate. He did. Clear headers. A couple of clear headers he had there, guys, against Wolverhampton Wanderers. We all saw it. He missed it. Now, I'm not going to attack him because I know that is very, very difficult when your chances are limited. And when you get a chance, it's almost like you're going to be rushing at the chance. You're going to be grasping at the chance. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. You know what I mean? Big up LT, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. The simple explanation is that we are a team that can create but can't defend well and control games, which is a midfield problem. Exactly. And as much as Amorim has his faults, but the main issue is INEOS. Spot on, mate. No one comes on here and saying that Ruben Amorim is the oracle of football, that he is this, that he's that. But I'm just not in that realms. I don't want to be that guy. Get him out of my football club. He's a fraud because that's too simple. It's too it dumbs down the IQ, so to speak. And this community is very smart. And I don't like coming out here and just saying, get him out of my football club. He's a fraud. Meet me in a car park. I'm going to go to your headquarters. I'm going to beat you up. And you know what I mean? I mean, come on, guys. Where are we going, guys? This is Manchester United, for goodness sake. We have people who died for this flipping football club. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And we got people in car parks offering people out. And they're not going to offer them out, mate. You're just soundbite. It's a soundbite. It's a clickable, viral video. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in Man United. And I want to talk about things legitimate with education, with logic, with both sides of the story. And lots of you do make good points. Ruben Amorim needs to get results. Bottom line. If Ruben Amorim gets results, no one talks. Well, they still will talk, but no one will talk. You know what I mean? They won't have a leg to stand on. They won't. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Big up, Jordy. It's good to have you here, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Sesko's another streamer, but to support your case for Amorim, he called for Watkins in the summer. They have taken all the transfer power from the manager in reaction to Ten Hag. It's a disaster. As I said there, Lawrence, is scouting. Sesko has never been prolific. I would show you the facts. He's never been prolific. He has been a player that can hold up the ball, bring players into play. He's the scorer of great goals. In the Bundesliga, he would score great goals, right? But the easy chances he would miss. He's done it a lot, Lawrence, right? And the easy chances he would miss. I agree. Man United should have got Mateta. Man United should have got Watkins. Man United should have... I've said that from a while back. Man United should get that. What Man United needed to do was solidify a team, a spine that works in the Premier League to go forward, and then slowly but surely you could start bringing in, the younger players and stuff, and molding the team around. I think Premier League experience is very important. It's not the be all and end all, but now looking at what Man United are linked to, and when I'm looking at some of the players that have been linked to Man United over this last, especially 48 hours, you got obviously Goretzka, you got Pascal Gross, you got these João Gomez, Ruben Neves, Conor Gallagher. You got these players being linked to Manchester United, and obviously Evan Ndika, which I said today. You got these players who are a little bit older now that they're starting to think, oh, maybe Man United do need some, age, some experience in there. Raja, will Bruno and hypothetical Carlos Baleba midfield work as a front field too? I don't think anyone will work at Bruno in the number 8. I don't think it's a good enough midfield. I'm not saying that Bruno in the midfield right now is a big problem. I do think that Man United need to think about the future and what we're going to do with that midfield, because it is the engine and it's something we have to fix, of course. Excuse me, guys. It's something we have to fix, of course. Is it truly INEOS' problem? We built a shell and not the whole. Yes, it is, mate. Team goes, he needs players. It is truly, yeah, exactly, Scott. It is truly an INEOS problem, yeah. And once Ruben Amorim has got his players and, the team and the wing backs and everything there is in place, then you can look at Ruben Amorim and say, well, you know what? He's not good enough. Or I told you so. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, what I would say, and I know a lot of people are going to be throwing out Sunderland and this and that. The expectations are different in those teams. The pressure is different levels in those teams. Man United is a different stratosphere. It's a completely different ball game. When you're talking about Man United, you're talking about a completely different ball game, guys. Absolutely. Those Fletcher boys are nowhere near ready for the Premier League, mate. I agree, Scott. Don't like these overreactionary fans on our fan base like Saeed and Noureddin, like 1 or 2 losses, doom and gloom. Saeed and Noureddin, Saeed said he wants Maresca. The guy who spent $1 billion and, you know what I mean, whatnot. And that just goes to show you, innit? There you go. He wants anything but Ruben Amorim. They're entitled to their opinion, but what they do is not based around love for Man United, in my opinion. It's based around clicks and likes and viral worthy. I tell you why. Because they go outside and go on the camera and they scream their head off because they want to go viral. And they mention it. They actually mention, I went viral with that video. And that's the thing. Sesko's electric and raw, but great finisher. Now he is not. In the future, I hope he works hard. I agree. I do think, Scott, I don't know what you make of this. I think we need another striker in there just to nurture him. And Mateta, someone like that. I don't know what you think about that. No, Bruno needs to go to number 10. Agree, Scott? Absolutely. Do you think we will sign anyone in January? If so, who do you think we'll get, Sal? Big up, Jordy. Look, everything is realistic when you think about it. Bear me a second, guys. Everything is realistic when you're thinking about it with Man United. But if our gun to head, if someone said, Sal, who are we going to get in the summer, in the winter now? I would tell you Conor Gallagher. I would tell you players like that. I would say loan deals, Ruben Neves kind of player, loan deals, things like that. That's what I would say. Absolutely. Rajab, even Tony, as that experience, it will be truly help take. I was a big fan that people know who've been tuning into Stretford Post for a while. At the beginning, in the summer, I was banging the Tony drum for a long time. I said he's an incredible player and he's underrated, in my opinion. Thought he would have been a great signing for Man United. I really do. No, Bruno, no creativity. We need more creativity. Absolutely, Geordie. Nicky, Liverpool performed bad last night too. They drew to Leeds. Exactly that. You know what I mean? As you said, Sal, it was a 4 out of 10 window, and they did not prepare to back him in January when it was clear we had depleted squad, and it's clear to solidify Europe we needed a CM. Yeah, our owners think it was all fine. They think that team can qualify for the Champions League. They're absolutely cuckoo, mate. They're absolutely mad, LT. And if they think that team's good enough for the Champions League, I mean, we may sneak the Champions League. We may fluke the Champions League, but we're not going to compete in the Champions League. That's for certain with that team. Darren, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back, my friend. But that needs to be done with our squad. This window should be treated like a summer window. Darren, especially the fact that the World Cup is on, and we're going to have less time in the summer to do business. And not only that, as I said many times, that if players do well in the summer, for example, if Elliot Anderson has a fantastic World Cup, his price tag is going to elevate incredibly, isn't it, to what he was at the end of the day. Absolutely. Big up, Darren. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. He's mad if he wants Maresca. He has zero ball knowledge. They do have zero ball knowledge, but that's not, at the end of the day, but they're not here for ball knowledge. They're here for sound bites. They're like puppets, like they're entertainment. That's what it is. They're basically advertisements on a board, at a football match. They're basically that. They're just a little bit of entertainment. That's what they are. And that's what people like. The people like to see people going crazy and going mad in front of the camera. People like that. That's up to them. At the end of the day, for me, it's not what I was raised on, but I wish them all the best if they want to do that. But at the end of the day, I don't want you taking their opinions as gospel because, I said it many, many times, guys. Just because people have big platforms doesn't mean that they are more knowledgeable than you, more knowledgeable than me, more knowledgeable than the guy who doesn't even have a YouTube. They took advantage of a space at a time when they took advantage of it and they were given an opportunity, and fair play, they took the opportunity. It doesn't mean that their opinion on football should be taken as the gospel. No one's opinion should be taken as the gospel. What I want, basically, is if you have Manchester United's best interest at heart, I respect your opinion. I respect if you want Ruben Amorim out. I respect that. But there's some people who do not want Manchester United's best interest, do not have Manchester United's best interest at heart. It's an absolute fact. They don't, because adversity, losing, creates drama, and it creates clicks, and it creates likes, and it creates viral moments. Now, if none of these people and these personnel, including the guy, his best mate and stuff like that, cared about going viral, why did they keep mentioning my video went viral? And that it just shows you what their ambition, what their intentions are in regards to it. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Gittins was garbage and Garnacho not all a hype either, but he still had a deep bench. Exactly. They made some terrible signings, Chelsea, though, I would say that, absolutely. When I'm looking at Chelsea at the moment, I'm looking at a team that is a project team and a team that is full of overrated young players, like Garnacho, of course. Good morning, fan. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're well. It's tricky for Bruno with two-man midfield. The new tends to brought in to place him. Ruben kept him as a playmaker, but now, personally, I am skeptical about Cunha. Bruno is a hybrid for a different formation. He needs to be playing at number 10, mate. Nothing else. I don't think even in the free he's any good. Will Mount finally be ready? I don't know, mate. How long is a piece of string? You know what I mean? There you go. Are you a fan of Gallagher, mate? Look, can I be honest, Jordy? As a stopgap, maybe. I think as a stopgap, and that's key, stopgap, those two words there. I think he would be a smart signing. He will be a smart signing for Man United. However, is he the player to take Man United to where we want to be ultimately, Champions League contenders and stuff like that? No. I think he's a good player. I think he's underrated. Obviously, he's not a fashionable signing. He's not going to sell you shirts, Gallagher in the back of the shirt and things like that. Absolutely not. But what I would say, I'm not going to stick my nose up at Gallagher. I'm not. But Gallagher needs to come in with someone else. He needs to come in. Gallagher's a sort of signing. Say, okay, we've got Gallagher and we've got another midfielder and we've got an attacker. And that's what needs to happen. But they're not going to do that, sadly. Scott. You think Gallagher is the pick, Sal, just due to his age and compared to Neves. I like Neves better, but I don't know. I would like both of them. Both of them would be good. Neves has 65 caps for Portugal, man. And when I think about Portugal, and I think about it's no mean feat to get 65 caps for Portugal. It's incredible. Darren, good morning, my guy. Big good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Lots of targets will be there playing at the World Cup, and their price could increase. Absolutely. Sal, this team has no chance but to throw everything we have at the January window, or at the risk not making Champions League money. We will see how committed they are. Scott, spot on, mate. Scott, time is an education. If they go into that this month, by the way, it's the window's open now. If they go into this month and they absolutely blow it away and they do well, I will give them the praise where it's due. Now, beyond sleeping with the Glazers, facilitating the Glazers, I don't think they've done well so far. And that's me. And I think they've been winging it, to be honest, winging it. And they're just as I said many times, throwing things against the wall, hoping it sticks. Lots of sound bites, lots of buzzwords. You know, I've been hearing from them, and I just don't think it's right. Now, guys, what will it take for Man United to be united again? We got to stop falling for the narratives. Now, we can either do two things. Man United can just become a sacking club, and we can sack player managers until we get it right? And not be patient with those managers like Chelsea, or we could be patient. Now, it seems to me that people want us to be a sacking club. They want us to be, okay, that's not working, next. That's not working, next. And we're slowly running out of managers. Like I said, guys, the only manager for me, looking at those players we have right now that can get, you know, that probably will do all right is probably Conte. But on a short-term basis. And this is the thing. Man United are not looking short. I'm not looking short-term. But Conte, I've just come back from Napoli. Conte's already falling out with Napoli players and Napoli board. This is what he does. This is what Conte does, isn't it? You know? But Conte will be a man that can come into Man United 2 or 3 years and let's see what happens. Maybe steady the ship. What do you guys think? If Ruben Amorim is going to get sacked, I would go for Conte. That's what I would do. Because you need that. Guys, let me just be clear, guys. He pays a back three, though, yeah? Let me just be clear with that. So, let's wait and see what happens, guys. I don't know what's going to happen, guys. Irfan, under the current circumstances, we're not really bad. This season is indifferent than most previous seasons. Anyone can beat anyone. It's the club who have better mentality, players who compete as well. Exactly that, Irfan. Spot on. Big up, Irfan. The Glazers should have sold Manchester United to UAE for $4 billion, and the Glazers should sod off to Australia. Big up, my friend Samuel. Agree with that. Agree. Stopgap field player. Exactly. Jordy. A lot of people were saying Ugarte was the missing piece in the summer when we got him. Goldbridge and Adam were all glazing him. He's a small, his passing is terrible. We need a pass. You know what I would say, Jordy? You know what I would say? You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Sometimes, you know, I wouldn't blame people because obviously he had fantastic stats at PSG. He had fantastic play at Sporting Lisbon. I wouldn't like look at things in hindsight and say, well, you were wrong. I told you, so hold that. I don't do that, but what I would say is that you're right. Sometimes, mate, it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. I come from a generation where we had Juan Sebastian Veron, who no doubt was one of the best players in the world in that midfield, but it just didn't work out. You know, we had higher standards then. Veron will probably come into this team now and be a best player. You know, but what I would say is that it just didn't work out. And sometimes, mate, it just doesn't work out. And that goes with players, that goes with managers. It just doesn't work out, and you know, and you have to call it as it is, of course, guys. Absolutely, I would sell Ugarte. I would sell Ugarte or make some money for him. We got links to Galatasaray with Ugarte. Get some money in for him. Reinvest that money into the team and do that. I would do that, in my opinion. Absolutely. Dalot needs to go as well. All these players. The mind space 68. Goldbridge is one of the worst for it. Toxic. Goldbridge needs a hug. That's what he needs. I don't know what's going on with him at the moment, but he's very, very down. I understand and respect his opinion. He wants, you know, even though he's not saying Ruben Amorim out, he wouldn't do that because obviously it will come back and bite him on the backside. But what I would say is that he's got entitled to his opinion. I've known him for 7 years. I don't dislike the guy. I don't know why people get so irritated by differences of opinion. I don't. I get irritated by stupid opinion. I do. Stupid opinion. I get irritated when people don't bring in the facts. They just bring in one narrative. I get irritated. But I don't get irritated because, like, you know, someone wants Ruben Amorim, you know, sacked. I don't, because that is their prerogative. That is their opinion. They're entitled to that. I do get a little bit irritated when every single thing is turned into a negative. Everything is turned into everything. And one thing I've learned about negativity, guys, you may not think it, but it does resonate. It does affect. It does infect people. It does. Too much negativity, it follows and it hovers around the club. And the Glazers are for that, absolutely. Now, I agree with Mark in regards to INEOS. I think INEOS need to go. I think they need to be sacked. I think that they've made too many wrong decisions. I wish they can be sacked. They need to sell, shall I say. They've made too many wrong decisions in my humblest of opinions. And I do believe that they need to go. I really do. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. Rajat, will Manchester United able to make pre-agreement deals and just World Cup mid-July? Will Manchester United be able to make You know what, Rajat? Put yourself in a business perspective, right? Let's say Nottingham Forest. Let's say Elliot Anderson, right? Nottingham Forest are thinking to themselves, the World Cup's coming, right? Elliot Anderson's more than likely to be at the World Cup. Thomas Tuchel likes him. You know, he could have a very good World Cup and we can get 80 million for him rather than 65. Do you know what I mean? You have to think of it on a business level. You have to weigh it up like that. Of course, Man United can do the groundwork. Man United can get deals done in principle, verbal agreements like they've done with Carlos Baleba, etc., etc. They can get these deals done. Of course they can. They can do an installment plan that ultimately will reach about 80, 90 million eventually, but it's being installments and it'll be for the benefit of Nottingham Forest. I want to see Man United doing that, Raja, but they're not going to do it. At the moment, like, the groundwork should be done on Elliot Anderson because we all know that Elliot Anderson will end up Man City or end up at another big club, you know? Well, famous club, or successful club, shall I say. Big is a bit of an overstatement. Yale, good morning. We submitted a bid already. We submitted a bid for Baleba and Conor Gallagher. Whether that's accepted, that's another story. Exclusive. I like Ruben Neves' leadership and technicality. I agree. The one thing, though, Raja, that I think about when I think about Ruben Neves is the fact that he wants to stay in Saudi Arabia, doesn't he? You know, it just comes across that. For the past 5 seasons or so, we have had a weak mentality of not taking seriously the games we're supposed to win against the weaker teams and perform against the bigger teams. Exactly that. Exactly that, guys. Now, I brought in this video a few weeks ago, but I want to play it again because I want to remind people. And I don't know if I still got it. Let me see if I still got it. I want to remind people of it, okay? And I want you to analyze this video. Watch this video closely and let me know what you guys think about this video, guys, because it's exactly that. It's exactly what I've been banging the bloody drum about for ages, guys. Absolutely.
We didn't lose yesterday because of the 3-4-3. Let's face the real issues. Let's face the real issues. We did not lose yesterday's game because Ruben Amorim was our manager. Yes, he has a blame, which I'm going to talk about. He has a blame. And I think I will say that in fact of who is responsible for the mentality of the team? The manager. Who is responsible for understanding the emotional and mental button of his team? The manager. But yesterday's game, in my own view, is what I've seen for 10 years in Manchester United. Manchester United as a team doesn't know how to take advantages or use advantages. How many times in our era have we come to a position where we say, if we win this our next game, we will move from this place to top 4, or we will move from here to first. And then the game we are saying that if we win, we come. And when that game comes, we lose it woefully. It might even be against a team that is not good. We will just say, if you can just win, these people are not that okay. If you can just win them, you know, will we just get to top 4, or we'll get to first, or we'll get to second? And how many times have we seen that over the years? That when that game actually now come and we play, they beat us woefully. The ability to make use of advantages is not in our blood. It has not been there for 10 years. So in as much as Ruben Amorim has blame, because he's the current Manchester United manager, is responsible for understanding the mental button and the emotional button of his team. He has to know it, which I'm going to analyze further. But this is a trend I have seen over the years. United doesn't take advantages. When everybody loses and you expect United to win, they will also lose. It's our blood. That's for 10 years, 10 plus years. That's what we have been doing.
There you go, guys. Now, this gentleman here hits the nail on the head. For me, hits the nail on the head. 10 years it's been like that. How many times have we been in situations where Man United had to needed to capitalize to get into the top 4, to get into the top 3, indeed, even to challenge for the league? How many times in the last 10, 12 years have we done that? And when we get ourselves into that position, we flatter to deceive. We bottle it. How many times? How many times have we done that this season? I mean, this is a mental, cultural problem at the football club, you know? And as my guy said there, Amorim's not exempt from blame. Of course he's not. Team selections and that, a little bit questionable, of course. But Man United, no matter who we play, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, if we're given an opportunity, we don't have the mental capacity to take it. And we've been doing this for years and years and years and years. And you know what? I don't know how it's going to stop, but we got to try. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Absolutely. We got to try. Where were we? Happy New Year, David. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Daryl, Happy New Year, my guy. You're doing well. Sorry I ain't been on. I've been low, been working through Xmas, man. We need to stick with our manager. He's the back end, full stop. If he gets the players he needs, we will be a better team. Big up, Daryl. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. All that jazz, of course. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you. Neves holding out for Madrid, apparently. That's what he's doing the rounds. I like Angelo Stiller, mate. In the summer, I would pay massive money for Morgan Rogers. Had to move heaven and earth for that kid. He's a great player. He's a very good player. He's a very good player. Angelo Stiller, big fan as well, mate. Big fan of Angelo Stiller as well. Yale, Chelsea model is crazy to switch a manager every year and then throw 60 million at them. It's not sustainable. They're not going to, you know what I mean? I'm surprised Mark has gone so extreme with Ruben Amorim. This tide has turning, not helped. The poor recent home results seem to have stung. All the big names are calling for the back 4 to return. Nothing to do with the back 4, mate. They played a back 4. They played a 4-2-3-1. It didn't do well, mate. Had it against That's just a stick to beat Ruben Amorim with. They need the players. The back 4 is just something that they're going to use. We're not going to win anything with a back 4 with that team. You know, no matter we play a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1, he needs his players. It's simple as that. Absolutely. PSG pulled our pants down. Yeah. But hindsight's a beautiful thing. Same, mate. I can remember thing. João Cancelo, yeah, Varane was brilliant. João Cancelo is apparently available. Will Manchester City connection hinder that deal, Sal? Could do. It's not in the realms of impossibility. I like Cancelo. Obviously, he was rated as the best, was it, wing back in the world. He got to Saudi Arabia, didn't he? Go to Saudi Arabia. It's like, yeah, look, I like him. He's a good player. Getting on a little bit will be a good signing, though, for a stopgap in regards to January. Xerxes and Garte both need to go. I agree with that, mate, Scott. Not only that, Blake, we sack enough promising managers. Nobody will want to come here. We will have our very own Roy Hodgson era. Exactly that, Renault. So spot on. Sure, big up, Geordie. The big YouTubers will not commit due to loss of subscribers, possibly. I just hate the rage bait. I hate the rage bait. I lose subscribers. I lose subscribers all the time. You know, whether I'm backing Amorim, whether I'm being negative about the result or something like that. I do, but I always speak with honesty and with the heart and the narrative that I want Man United to win. You know, and that is the most important thing for me. You know, I'm actually genuinely angry. I don't go, no, goodness, don't do this. It's so, oh, he's done it again. He's done it again. I don't do things like that. I know him, mate, very well. 7 years, Rajat. So I know he's a nice guy. But don't bring football opinion into, people, personalities and things like that. It has nothing to do with it. You can be a nice guy and have different opinions. When we bought Ugarte, there are players available like Trincao and Colombian Rosso. Forgive me if I have their names wrong. I was crying out for those guys. I'm sure they have made a huge blunder. No, because Cunha will score loads of goals in Portugal, you know. And Rosso, guys. No, that's just a buzzword. Trincao's not good enough. Sorry. I think the only solution is replace all the players who've been there for too long and those who are not good enough and replace them with quality players who are professional and give their all. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely spot on. Great comment. Goldbridge to mainstream for me. Prefer Sal channel instead. Interacts with his people. Respect Sal. Big up, Geordie. It's good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Really good to see you, mate. Richard Rios. Yeah. Well, what's happened to Richard Rios? Have you heard from Richard Rios? Exactly that. Roma go for him for a decent price as well. Yeah, exactly. He's doing all right. It's Portugal again. It's the Portuguese league. It's the old Portuguese league. Don't play for Benfica. Plays for Roma now. Yeah. That's true, Geordie. Well said. The club is a graveyard for attacking football. That's what videos to say. People were generally hoping for a 3-3 Bournemouth goal, as it's a bit nostalgia from the past. Man United are the second top scorers in the Premier League. Just to let people know, you know what I mean. That is something that people need to understand. That Man United are actually one of the top scorers in the league, guys. Absolutely. Yeah, I would say that. Spot on. Big up everyone. I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone is blessed, of course. Listen, guys. Listen. Stretford Post is a channel that we put our opinions across. We talk the truth. We banter sometimes. You've got to have thick skin on this channel, guys. Let me tell you that right now. And we need to be a little bit more mature in regards to the way we are. But like my friend Mike said. But what I would say is that you need to have thick skin on Stretford Post. That's one thing you need to do. And we banter. Don't get upset. It's just a show, guys. At the end of the day, fans need to mature. We are building a squad in the slow motion, mate. In slow motion, yeah. Oh, don't worry. 100-meter sprint. Let them go ahead. We'll catch up with them. It's all right. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Guitar in, full out. That is what Man United needed. That would have been the best for Man United. That is the ultimate bottom line. That is the best for Man United. Debt cleared. Glazers out. Start again. Full sale. Whether it's Apple, Amazon, Qatar, whatever. INEOS facilitated them. They slept with them. INEOS have got a lot to prove. And if they don't sign anyone in January, you know what their priorities are. Fattening their pockets, of course, guys. Absolutely. But guys, I want to thank everyone and bless up everyone. I'm tired today. I did get back this morning from Naples. Of course, I had a long flight overnight, so I really appreciate you. And excuse me if I'm not 100%, but thank you so much, guys. And don't forget to join me later. I will be back, guys. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Smash a like on the video. Put your notifications on. And I shall see you later, guys. Have a fantastic day. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. Enjoy yourself, guys. And enjoy yourself. Not every game was good. In the early years of Fergie was allowed to do what he wanted, mate. And this is not 1986. Sorry, Mike, but you know what? It's not 1986, brother. And I'm not blowing smoke up INEOS arse or the Glazers arse. They need to, guys. They need to pull out their finger and do what they want. I would love them to do well, because if they do well, Man United do well. I'm not here to wait 10 years, mate. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're Manchester fucking United. You know what I mean? We need to start acting like that. Do you know what I mean? Lawrence, West Ham going down would take away a lot of suffering. Big up, Lawrence. And Mark Goldbridge is about opinionated and he's less about facts, but love rage baiting. Gets clicks, gets likes, makes money. Guys, have a great day, great evening, great night, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to smash a like on the way out, guys. Absolute legends. Take it easy and enjoy it. There we are. And enjoy yourself. Take it easy. See you soon.